It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tyrone Lowe. I'm your host. The show is called The Legend. I want to thank everybody all over the world that actually subscribes to my show and show me love. And without you guys, there wouldn't be no legends. In the house of the legends, I've known this guy for a long time, and we connect periodically. He's a very good brother, very good with spirituality and things of that nature, man. And it's going to be a pleasure actually interviewing him. And in the house of the legends, I bring you Lloyd DJ Dub Wharton. What's going on, dude?
All right, fam. How's it going? What's going on, brother Tyrone
Hey,
Lowe?
man, hey, what can I say? We're breathing, we have comprehension, and we pretty much know what's going on around us. You know what I'm saying? So that's a blessing. I always encourage everybody to look at the little things in life, man, to inspire them and others as well.
Yes,
So what
sir.
we're gonna do, man, we're gonna take you way back. I want you to tell everybody about where you're based at, and let's take it back to when you was a child, man. Let's talk about that.
Okay. Way, long time ago. I'm, orig-
Okay.
I'm originally from Chicago, Illinois. Parents of immigrants from Guyana and from Puerto Rico. Born and raised on the South Side. My name's Lloyd Wharton, DJ, aka L-Dub, anybody who doesn't know. Basically, I grew up, was a young guy. I raised in a family of educators. Dad was a principal. He has a school named after him in Chicago, Dr. Donald E. Wharton. I didn't go that path. I went different things. He passed away back in the day, in the 80s. And so here's this young guy trying to find his way, trying to find his place. But in the midst of that, I used to listen to the radio stations in Chicago, WJPC, WKKC, WBMX, all these different stations.
Right.
Was, the influence of the different DJs and the music. I was like, oh man, that's, I was just influenced, the Saturday night mix shows, the Friday night mix shows,
Right.
the weekday events that go on. I was too young to go to the clubs at that time, but I can at
Okay.
least, listen. That was like an event for me. I'm sitting here late at night listening and recording on the mixtape, just recording these mixes. And so it was just my mom and myself. So it was just really just trying to find my space, find my way. So as time went, I met different people. I met a guy named John Summers. He was in school with me. He showed me this thing about DJing. I'm like, what is that? What does that look like? And so he actually showed me. He was very talented and crafted. And I'm like, man, okay, I don't know if I could ever do that, but the seed was planted. And so we would go to these different clubs. He showed me about places like back in Chicago, it's called the Warehouse, CODs. I actually got a chance to go to the Box. This place called the Box. A lot of these places are gone now, but all these different venues, I had a chance to see these well-named DJs. Frankie, um, you know, Jesus, Ron Hardy,
Okay.
the Hatchet, Steve Sook Hurley, Frankie Knuckles, all these different people,
Right.
who did their thing. The names, the Hot Mix Five, all these people you see and hear on the radio, or correction, hear on the radio, but you got a chance to see them do their thing at the clubs. And so I'm
Okay.
like, wow, I'm fascinated. I'm like, I want to do what you're doing, just
Okay.
learning because I'm seeing the reaction and the emotion of the crowd. And I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, I love that. I love to see the people react. I know how I react because I love music.
Right.
I'm sitting here
Right.
listening, and I'm very influenced, by what they're playing. So
Okay.
time went on. Like I said, it was just my mother and myself, and so I was getting to that, fighting stage, trying to find myself. Didn't really have, that structure because I didn't have a male role model, at that time. But I got to a point where I wanted to join the military, and I joined the military. And here's the running joke: I joined the military. Yes, right there, Sergeant Wharton, right there. I joined the military because I didn't want anybody telling me what to do. I'm waiting for the
And,
reaction.
So, your military days, were you also influenced by music also? Because
Oh,
did you get to travel and actually see other things that was congregated with music? You know, that had some type of engagement with it. I mean, because I knew somebody that went to Germany, man, and actually got turned out.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
You-
So it's funny you say that. See, asked. So, so continuing this path, I joined the military because I didn't want anybody to tell me what to do. Learned out very quickly that everybody tells you what to do, and so in the midst of that, I'm this Chicago native listening to disco and house. That was my thing. You couldn't tell me anything else about any other brand, any genre of music than disco and house. I get sent to Oklahoma, whereas I did my basic training and got stationed, and so forth. And I started learning as I got open to go to the clubs, went and started hearing R&B and hip hop. And then that Miami South music was the hot topic back then. And
right.
the Two Live Crew and all that, the stuff that was going on.
Hmm.
But I had to learn more than what I'm used to because I'm not getting house down in the South, back then.
Right. Right.
Going to your pointing to your question, yes, I did travel. I went to Germany. I first went to Korea, 91, and then when I came back, went to Oklahoma, and then went back to Germany in 93 to 95, and then came back to Oklahoma. I kept winding back in Oklahoma. But during the course of that time in those years, I had a chance to be able to play at different clubs. I got the nerve enough to ask the club owners in the local places that I was at, especially in Oklahoma, hey, can I play in your club? And they actually heard the way I played, and they let me play. They let this 18, 19-year-old play in their club, and I got a chance to get my teeth, to grind my teeth, and playing for the crowd. Because
Right.
my thing was I wasn't just playing what I wanted to hear. I wanted to play if I was on the dance floor. What would make me move? What would make me inspire me? And so I would do that, and I'd listen to other DJs and listen to the radio still, and still go to the at the time the record stores. You can actually play the tracks before you can even take them home, which was
Okay.
I love that because okay, I may not want this version, I may want this song, but even at the secondhand stores, you can find stuff, old stuff. It
Right.
was out. If you knew the artists, if you knew the production companies, if you knew the producers, oh, okay, well, this might have a nice track. I may not know the song or the album. I might take a chance. This may have a hit on it or something
Right.
worth playing. And so all of this was building. Just had a chance to play at this spot and that spot. Still learning the craft. Now, the defining moment for me was when I went to Germany. And that is correct. Germany I had a blast over there in Germany. It was great. For me, it was a change because my mom had just died. I was torn up because anytime I went back to Chicago, I was going home. I was going home and spending time with her and so forth and doing whatever, spending time with people. But when I went to Germany, I met a guy. Now, mind you, his name was Mr. Magic. No, this is not the Mr. Magic from New York. This is it was, this is
I hear you, man.
let me check that now before somebody exposed me to the car and said, dude, you was Mr. Magic now, you lying. No, his name was Alan Stokes, Sergeant First Class Alan Stokes.
Right.
And he, when you first get to Germany, they have to acclimate you. You have to learn German. You have to get your driver's license and everything before you go to your unit. But he was the sergeant. He was our platoon leader, preparing us. And
Right.
so I eventually, once I got stationed to my unit, they sent me on to my unit. Was in Darmstadt, Germany. He was stationed he was stationed in. I was in Babenhausen, Germany. He was in Darmstadt, Germany.
Right.
And he was at a club, and I heard him play. And at that point, I had already gotten the nerve to be able to play in a club. And so I came up to him and said, hey, I like what you're doing. I'm a DJ too. Can I DJ with you? And he thought about it, and he actually gave me the opportunity, and he mentored me in DJing. And he basically opened my eyes in playing different genres of music again. I was just Chicago native. I wanted to hear house disco. That was
Right.
sort of going over there. But back then, they were MTV crazy. So
Right.
the Germans over there, the young Germans and so forth, they were into the cross colors and the Benettons and the urban look
Right.
and feel. So they wanted to hear the hip hop. They wanted to hear the R&B. They wanted to hear all that stuff. And I had to learn this music.
Right.
Because
Right.
I'm like, okay, if I'm going to be DJing, I need to, snap to and play what what folks want to hear. So he basically mentored me, and it was great because we played at different clubs at all the different. It's called Morale Welfare um, Operation, where you basically MWR. Where you basically go to different clubs throughout Germany, to different bases, and play at the clubs. And what they did was, you had two sets of DJs. You had two crews, and so it was his. I was a part of his crew, and then they would play not against, but play with another crew. And so if it started at 10, we would play. And so that meant he would play at 10. Then the DJ would hand off to the other DJ. They would play for an hour. And then I would play for an hour. And then their other person would play for an hour. We would do this all the way up till 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
Right? And so all these different places had to load up equipment, had to get in that old Volkswagen Bug, to pack that thing in.
Okay.
I
hear you, bro.
We didn't have MapQuest or smartphones back then. We had a map.
Right.
We had a map, and we had to figure out where you were going.
Wow. Wow. That's really old school, man. That's really old school.
we were doing it. I'm just amazed. But yes, and so there was one particular moment we played with somebody. His name was New York Finest, and I equated his skill set to DJ Kid Capri, because back then, Martin Lawrence had the Apollo Live, and Kid Capri would get up there, tearing it up on the decks. And this guy was such a character. He would play that. He would play like that, and I was intimidated because we were getting ready to play with him and his wife in Hanau, and so. It came to the point where we're playing, and then it came to my point for me to play, and I didn't know what I was going to play, because first of all, I was a house head and I wanted to play house, but I was sort of forced to play other genres of music because Sergeant First Class Stokes, Mr. Magic, basically I played a house set, so I couldn't play house because then that would have been repetitive. At that time, God gave me the idea of play slow music, music set.
Now that's different.
And yes, and then back then, R. Kelly had that sound. He had that
right.
And, so it was him, Cut Close, Janet Jackson, all these different songs that were out at that time.
Right.
And so I just mixed that, and the people were actually on the floor. They stayed on the floor and they enjoyed themselves. I was like, whoa! Wow. I'm sitting there playing, and then come to the end of the set, I was getting nervous again because I'm like, okay, this dude's he's ready to jump on the decks and tear me up.
Right.
I said, okay, you can go. He said, no, man, go ahead and play your set. Play you. And I said, okay, cool. So I continued to play. People stayed on the dance floor. And then when it was time to hand it off to him, as a nod, he basically played about 3 more songs, slow songs. He could have gone into it and just gone crazy, like, look at me. He didn't do that. I'm like, that was a defining moment to me. That was encouraging, because
right.
Play yourself. Don't worry about what the next person's doing.
Can you actually describe the feeling about that? Just actually knowing that you're actually putting that type of energy into people, where they're actually reacting to the way that you want them to react, to make you, give you that self-satisfaction on the floor?
Absolutely. So the funny thing is, prior to coming to that event, I actually mapped out what songs I wanted to play. I said, okay, well, I'm going to play. I don't know how I'm going to play and when I'm going to play it, but I was glad I prepared, first of all. But then second of all, I was proud. I was very humbled, and I was proud, because I was like, wow, they got on the floor and danced and stayed on the floor, because folks would let you know very quickly if they were dissatisfied with your set, or dissatisfied with the song choices you're playing, and they stayed. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. I'm like, okay, well, let me continue to keep playing. And I was very humbled, over that experience, because I almost wanted to cry, because I'm like, I've been wanting this. I've been looking at other DJs. I've been looking at other people entertaining,
right,
doing their thing, and to get that type of response, I'm like, okay, well, what I'm doing is valid as well.
Right. My question to you is, playing overseas and actually playing here in the States, is there any type of differential type of vibe, would you say?
Well, the first thing is music,
right?
And people love music. If they'll tell you if they like it, and they don't. They vote with the feet. You know what I mean? So if they don't like it,
right,
they will walk off that floor. But what I have discovered is do not assume your audience. Watch your audience, know your audience. Try and know where you are, where you're at, and what you're going on. When I was overseas, I actually had a chance to play in Korea, had a chance to play in Germany,
Okay.
a little bit in Belgium, Spain. Went there in
Right.
Spain, with Tina Dixon, and we had a crew, had a conference, DJ conference over there.
And it's funny that you mentioned Tina Dixon, because I talked to her today, and she's actually going to be on my show next Wednesday.
Miss Tina, that's right.
Yep, most definitely, man.
Met her
Yeah.
at WMC in Miami.
Okay.
Great lady.
Right.
I had had the opportunity to play at these different venues and gone overseas. What I've seen overseas is they're no different than what we're doing.
Right.
The only thing is sometimes an artist, and I get it. Sometimes the artist doesn't get the love and respect over here, and they'll go overseas. We're like, oh, okay, we like this sound. Becomes a hit. They mix it. They have that European sound, and then they'll mess around. And that same song will come back here that didn't get the love, and then, oh, this is great. Where did it come from? It was out 5 years ago. And so but going over there and playing for the audience and crowd,
right.
It was interesting. So our lighter brothers and sisters who get on the dance floor like the same stuff we do,
right?
And you can't just assume. Even here, stateside, I played in country bars. I played in different mixed pop clubs and so forth. Right. They want to hear what they want to hear, and if it's hot at that moment, they'll listen to it.
Wow,
just
that's amazing.
Watch the crowd, pay attention.
Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to take a little break, and we're going to actually come back to DJ Lloyd, DJ Dub, and we'll be right back.
It's not just mine, his or her house. This is our house.
We got some fun people in the house tonight.
This is our house.
And we're back. Name of the show is called The Legends. I'm your host, and we have DJ Lloyd, DJ Dub Wharton in the house.
All right.
So let me ask you a question. Now that you're here in the States and things of that nature, I know you're based in Baltimore, and how's the crowd out there? I mean, how's the clubs out there, and what are they actually playing out there, to your knowledge?
All right. So actually, I am in Maryland, but I'm closer to DC.
Right.
In Upper Marlboro, but so the chance that I have seen in the clubs in Baltimore, theirs is more of the house. I guess they have that dubstep. They have their own version of house as well. The plays out there. I actually had a chance to play for an event, and we did a gospel house event. And Tommy Davis was at the event. Our brother T Money Gardner was out there. We played, and we just did a gospel house event.
Okay.
And had a good turnout, had a good event, a nice vibe. The Gospel House. Now that is a house venue out there. There's a house component out there, but there's also the R&B and everything else in their clubs. So I haven't really stayed much in the clubs of late. I've been doing more so events. But from my observation and from what I've listened to, they have their own component and they go for it. They go wild.
You have a show out, I think is under construction and stuff.
Yes.
And let's talk about that.
Yes. The under construction broadcast, which by the way, on Monday nights is from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern on Mixcloud through the Worldwide DJ Network. This actually started on themastersgroove.com, www.themastersgroove.com. Rico Flores, I was introduced to him by Frankie Vibe. And had a chance to be able to play with them for a number of years. I got a chance to sink my teeth into the broadcasting piece. That's actually my first broadcasting venue. And it was great opportunity playing, gospel house, inspirational house. The name Under Construction came from it because I wanted to encourage and inspire people. Here to build you up, never tear you down. Thanks for coming around. Listen to the sounds of the gospel underground. DJ
Right.
live and direct from Maryland. It just, that was the tagline. And it wasn't just speech. It wasn't just talking. I am playing the music, but I'm talking to the people who are listening.
Right.
Both live and in the archive, just encouraging people. And then, you know, depending on what's going on, I may even stop and pray. At the end, definitely want to pray, you know, and offer the opportunity for salvation. But whatever's going on at that moment, especially nowadays, we're definitely praying, we're encouraging. The whole goal is to encourage and inspire. I chose Monday night because Sunday I'm already tired from activities, church, and everything else. But Monday nights is the beginning of the week. Let's push through the rest of the week. Be encouraged, be inspired with music. Relax, sit back, relax, and enjoy. Invite people. Let's go. Let's go.
You know, that's very encouraging, man, because, you know, I've done a lot of gospel house mixtapes, as you know, and stuff, because I've actually was encouraged from you from years ago. We didn't really connect and stuff like that, but we sort of like on a social media tip, sort of like hit each other. And I was like, wow, because when I first got into the gospel house thing, it was like I was getting so much of it. I'm like, I can really do something about it, you know, because it's different genres of music. And apparently I started putting out gospel house mixtapes, and especially during the pandemic, you know, when we really needed that message of encouragement and inspiration, you know, and things of that nature. My question to you, Lloyd, is they have a lot of upcoming artists coming up these days, and what would you actually say to them to keep them encouraged?
Absolutely. We love you. Keep going. Keep moving. Be inspired. Live your dream. Go forth. Launch out. You have that thing inside of you to launch forth. If you ever watch this movie, my wife will attest to it. She loves this movie called Sister Act. In Sister Act 2, there was a moment where Whoopi Goldberg was talking to a young Lauryn Hill because the young lady wanted to sing, right? And she talked about the book. There was a book, I think Lawrence Langston Hughes, I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but she was basically inspiring her, saying that, hey, if all you can do and think about and breathe and live is singing, you're a singer. So same thing to anybody who wants to be a DJ. If you want to be a DJ and is very passionate, that's something you can't get off your mind, you really want to do it, your heart's desire, go DJ. Don't wait, just do it. So for the singers, we need you. We need you. We need your content. We want to support you. We want to play what you have. We want to hear your story because you're sharing a story. Even if somebody else writes that thing, you're pouring your heart into what you're singing. Perfect example, it was an event out there in Philadelphia after I came from WMC the last time. Richard Smallwood was talking about how when they sing, they're not just singing. They have a lesson. They take a lesson. They learn about what they're singing. So when they sing, they're conveying what their heart. They're coming from their heart. So
Right.
you as an artist, come from your heart. Don't just do it just because you want to be popular. Because
Right.
do what you've been called to do because you have been given a gift and talent. I can sing, right? But I can sing solo. You don't want to hear how I sing, right?
I hear you.
The way you sing, Mr. and Mrs. Artist, sing your heart out. Sing what your God-given talent. Do the best that you can. Don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on your skill set. Don't worry about what the next person's doing. Don't you focus on the negative. You go forth and do what you've been called to do because we need your content. We have no music, we cannot play. All right?
That's true. That's
All right.
true. Well, you know, it's been a pleasure, man. I mean, an actual pleasure having you on my show. We made an attempt a long time ago and it just didn't work out. But, you know, like I always say, God has his way of actually putting things together. And this is so amazing, actually having you here, expressing yourself with, you know, and letting people know who you are, you know, sharing your hope, strength, and experience and your inspirational talents and things of that nature. And this has been another T-Lo video production. And my guest, Lloyd DJ Dub Walton, was in the house. So, you guys go out there and before we go, Lloyd, tell the viewers how they can actually get in contact with you, man.
Yes, and absolutely. First, and also thank you for this opportunity, because God bless you, man. Thank you for the opportunity. I am on Worldwide DJ Network. That's www.djn.com. I'm a part of that crew, but I have a website, djldub.com, djldub.com. That's my website. And then on Monday nights, you can catch me on Mixcloud. It's the official www.djn is our site on Mixcloud. And I post and I put out, catch me on Instagram. It's djldub. Twitter, now X, it's djldub. On Facebook, it's djldub. Let's talk.
Okay. And this has been another T-Lo video production. And you guys stay tuned for another episode.